Alright guys, this is going to be a review of the Kawasaki ZX9R. Or if you're American, I don't know if you people call it ZX9R. That's probably completely wrong, but yeah, fuck it. I just wanted to talk about why I got the bike. As for me, it was a logical upgrade from a 600cc to a 900cc. Now when I was looking for an upgrade, the reason was the power. I did not feel satisfied on a 600. I'm a bit of a junkie, won't deny it at all. Oh mate, you want a nod? Hey, noddy McNoddins. It was a logical upgrade. Wanted more power, bit more of a grin. So I also wanted the bike as a workhorse. I wanted it to take me to work, get me home from work, and I wanted it to keep up with friends' bikes, and I wanted it to be a bit of a hooligan at the same time. And even though that all of that's a bit of a lengthy demand from a bike, I also wanted it to be reliable. I didn't want to have to work on it too much and have problems with the engine, things like that. Then a friend recommended a Kawasaki ZX9R. Vroom vroom. So I had a look online, you know, as you do, the MCM reviews, googling about, checking out the forums, and it seemed to tick every box. A bit like Katy Perry. She ticks all my boxes. But you know, maybe one day I'll get to review her, but stay tuned. So yeah, it ticked all the boxes. So I went and tried one out. Loved it. Awesome. Scared the absolute shit out of me. Coming up from a 600 to even coming up from an R6 to this bike. If you're not shaking when you get off it, if it's your first time on a 900 or you know, 1000 or something like that, then you will be shaking after your first ride. Because the power delivery is just, whoa! It's mind-blowing. You get used to it after a while, and you learn to use it sensibly and not be so scared of it because you're used to it. You know, it's like anything. The more you do, the more you ride, the more you get used to it. But for me, it was, I've had the bike a long time now, and it's taken me on very, very long trips. I'm talking like 13, 14 hours riding at a time with minimal breaks. If you reviewed my other content, you'll see that I mostly like to take it down the twisties and things. But that's just another side of what I do with this bike. I'm obviously not going to upload long motorway rides because who the fuck wants to watch that? I know I don't. So you will only see that side of the sort of messing about side of this bike. But I promise you, it will do long trips and it won't give you any problems. And it's so comfy. I can sit on this bike all day long, and I won't have many. You know, I'll perhaps be a little bit sore from being stuck in one position all the time, but I'm not gonna. There's no major comfort issues that you need to worry about. So now I've cleared up the whole. Yes, it's comfy, it's reliable. I've not really had to do much to this bike, and it's high mileage. I won't tell you how many. It's for bike world, it's high. These bikes will do 70, 80, 90,000 miles without much problem, as long as you keep on top of the oil and filter changes and the valve clearances. And that's really just that's the meat of what you need to do with this bike. And the valve clearances, I'd say every 5,000 miles, oil and filter, you know, standard, whatever you feel like you want to do with that. So yeah, that's it, and that's it. The bike will just keep going and going. Apart from your consumables, your tyres, your fluids, lube. Yeah, I haven't really got much else to say on that. I won't drag on with it. And then the other thing people look at with this is anyone who gets this bike, they're not getting it just for the comfort and touring aspect. They want the dark side of this bike. I'll show you the rev limiter down there. We've got 14,000. I don't know if you can see that or not. I don't really care. There's 14,000 revs. Now, If you keep those revs below 7,000, the bike's a puppy. You cruise about a 30 all day long, 20, 10 miles an hour, smooth as anything, awesome. It won't bite you, it's not going to chuck you off the back. It is entirely your choice if you want to come off the back. Don't get me wrong, there's still mistakes to be made because it's a powerful bike, but trust me, you kind of understand where the power is coming from on this bike. Fuck, what are they doing? Oh, you're talking with your hands like this, so people are like looking at you. So yeah, you choose, if right, so below 7,000, as I am now, I'm at 3,000 revs. I could pull this throttle straight back and it'll accelerate at a good pace, but that front wheel is nowhere near coming up. There's nowhere near enough there for me to really be shitting myself. It will still go, but it's a slow delivery, and you can hear. I don't know if you can hear it in the video. You can hear it in the bike when the tone from the engine, it gets to around 7,000 revs. That is the dark side of this bike. You know when it hits 7,000 revs because it goes. I call it space warp. The bike just fucking goes. You'll get a good nice strong pull up to 7,000 from 5th, 6th gear, and it will still be a good strong pull. And then when it hits that 7,000, BAM! Space warp. I'll show you what I mean. We'll do a second gear line up here. So we're at 4,000 revs. Watch when it hits 7,000. Back wheel gone, front coming up. So yeah, that's it. Mr. Policeman there. Whee! Woo! I don't know how well this comes out in video, but you get a general idea, I think. Look at this guy. Could you be any more of a cock? Could you be any more of a fucking cock? Right, you look like a proper twat. I hope you feel good. I hope you go to sleep thinking, oh god, I didn't look like a twat, but you really did. Anyway, yeah. I'll do a better one for you. I haven't got a car up my arse, so I'll stick it in first gear and we'll wind it on. That's another thing with this bike. The only problem is, going around corners and things, you do not want to be winding this bike on from first or second gear. Alright? If I'm coming around this corner in second gear and I wind the bike on, that front is going to go so light and it will pop up. If you've not got your weight anchored down on that front, it's coming up, and you do not need that when you're going around a corner. So you've got to be very. You cannot open this bike up full throttle around corners unless you're sort of in 4th, 5th gear. If you open it up in first gear full throttle, it's going to chuck you off the back. You're flipping it. You don't have to touch the clutch. You just wind the throttle. The front is coming up 12 o'clock. You're off. Second gear, it will do the same. If I'm winding it on in first, switch to second, and then straight away wind back on, the front will pop up like a madman. You have to moderate the throttle. You cannot just give it. It's a 900cc sports bike. You cannot just bam it. So I'll try and find a road where I can give you an example of that. It's going to be a bit difficult because I'm not in the national. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll conclude this with a little clip to show you exactly what the power delivery is on this bike, because I'm not scared. I will wind the throttle open first and bring the front up to however high it needs to come up, because I know how to bring it down, and I've had this bike long enough to be able to do that. So what I'll do is I'll wind it on from first, let the front come up, bang it into second, the front will come down, it'll pop straight back up. I'll have to do this in a straight line, and it gets fast quick. If you're winding it on from first into second, your wheel will be up in 3 digit speeds. Believe me. So I'm coming up to a national soon. So what it is, bang it into first. Right, so we're going to wind it on. Alright, hopefully you see what I meant. First gear, the whole of first gear, the front wheel's in the air. Banged it into second, the front barely touched the ground, and it was straight back up again. All the way through second. It's just an absolute beast. It's a menace. It's an antisocial bike. when you take it past that 7,000, it is absolutely menace, right? And again, it's just, yeah, see, if you're a beginner and you wind this on, it's going to end bad for you. So my advice, if you're new with this bike, you're new with this kind of power, be careful. Keep it below 7,000 until you understand what it is about. Overall, I'll give this bike 10 out of 10. It has an incredible community behind it, an incredible following. You want to get on the ZX9R net forums. There's not a man on there that doesn't know what he's talking about, apart from me. Any issues, they will resolve them incredibly quickly. This bike is tried, tested, reviewed, and beasted. My heart's racing. The adrenaline rush I got from opening it up was a bucket. That's done me for the day now. I'm going home. I've got my kicks. So yeah. Anyway, it's a bit of a. It's not really a normal kind of bike review, but I'm not going technical with it. You can find all the technical details and specifications on MCN, Google, wherever the fuck you want to find them. This is just a real road test. I'm showing you what it's about.